My name is Thomas Brennan. I'm the assistant lecturer for post-production at the Stockholm University of the Arts in Stockholm, Sweden.
What would be something that really distincts this university from the other ones?
Well, I guess it is this kind of diversity of programs, really, and the idea of having one building. One of the intentions of having one building is so that we can have cross-disciplinary courses, programs, exercises even, so that film and media students can work with dance students, opera students, of course acting students as a natural kind of collaboration. So yeah, that's...
And is this something that, this kind of a multidisciplinarity, is that something you have already been inviting into your program, into your curriculum?
We've tried. I mean, but it's been very difficult. There's been resistance at different levels to that. I mean, for instance, I've been trying for many years now to do an exercise with the opera program where we do like opera music videos, right? So that we work with opera directors and singers and develop basically music videos, working with scenic arts department as well.
And this is not something that you see so often.
That's right.
Opera music videos.
That's right.
And how did it go?
It hasn't gone yet. That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's been difficulty in getting it organized. Yeah, we have great interest from the opera department. We have great interest from our film teachers. But the coordination has been difficult, meaning each program is so separate right now. Our schedules are determined year and a half in advance, as anywhere generally. So it's been a matter of coordinating with the different the heads of programs, so that we can put aside a block of time, right, to have a course like that.
Right. So that would be like one of the roadblocks or one of the challenges that you're facing.
That's right.
Would you say that maybe this kind of a long-term planning is not very compatible with how fast industry changes, and there is a fast pace and innovations on the innovations? We are all about innovations, if you could maybe feel about Lusófona. It's really all about the innovation. But then we're also trying to see where does the innovation lead us, and how does the new program fit into the old curriculum? And maybe that's something that you've been also dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, again, we have several groups kind of working right now to develop these systems so that we can have these kind of programs happening, right? So there have been program responsible, for instance, BA responsible people in all of the programs have been meeting. How can we sync our schedules together? Where can we have a break in our curriculums, right? Because each program right now is quite separate in their development of their program. These were separate colleges that came together, right? So there's kind of this institutional history within each program, how they run their program, right? For instance, so opera has a particular way that they teach their students. And that timing is not synced with the way we teach our students. So it's finding those kind of synchronization points that's been the most difficult.
And do you think that it is appropriate to do this kind of mixtures of disciplines already on the BA level? Or does it make more sense to start with maybe master's students and introduce interdisciplinarity from the master's level? Or should we just mix them?
I'm an advocate for doing it early. Right, so in the bachelor program, because I feel that students are already have a multidisciplinary sense about the world, right? I think we understand that, yeah, the world is interdisciplinary already, right? When we walk around, we hear advertisements, we see advertisements, we're seeing movement, we're seeing etc. So for me, I'd like to see it early. I'd like to see our students get involved with other disciplines earlier.
And do you think, what do you think about the mixing the bachelor degree projects with the master's, for example, projects, and like involving them from the different stages?
We encourage that already. So a lot of our master programs are not, fully occupied by all of the specializations. So we encourage the master students to seek out bachelor students who can assist them in their projects. So, for instance, the last time we had master examinations, there were several BA students involved in sound, assistant cinematographers, some producers. So we do encourage that, and we encourage it the other way as well. So master students assisting BA projects if necessary. If we have a gap, say in a team, they need an editor, we will talk to the master students to see if any of them are interested in participating. So we do encourage that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so basically then you traveled to Lisbon and you got acquainted with the Film EU. Is there any interest or plan from particularly your side or on how to create this collaboration, or do you think it's more for learning practices from each other, or do you think of like a multidisciplinary international project?
All three of those, yeah. We are interested, we have a strategic plan that's been put out, and part of that plan involves international collaborations. So we have the head of the school is quite active in promoting that with us, encouraging us to go out into the world and make contacts, make networks. We see it as a positive for the school. It puts us on the map, so to speak, when we're involved in these projects. It creates interest about our school. We're trying to open up our program, meaning language-wise is the first, right? Because our BA is in Swedish. But now we have every BA group in their fourth semester, it's an English term. So this way we can bring in Erasmus students and others into the program at that time. The multidisciplinary nature, I mean, again, we are a UniArts, right? So we have these 7 programs. So, we want to be able to promote that. We can see adding value to a Film EU project, say, whatever that might be. Because I know that, the Film EU, well, it's Film EU, right? It's in the name. But I know there is an interest in expanding that kind of concept, right? So that possibly in the future there is a dance component or an opera component or an acting component to the Film EU program, or there might be a project that involves these other programs. So we want to be a part of that. We want to engage with the world more. We've been a little bit isolated, I would say, a little bit more provincial in the past, and I think there is a bit of an awakening about, getting out into the world, engaging with the world, seeing how other practices are practiced, you'd say, how things are done in other places. Again, to give us perspective, insights, and also new ways of teaching and learning.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess when different film schools put together their even evaluation standards, especially when they're art schools, sometimes you can see that they can be quite different. Sometimes maybe even contradictory, right? And I think that might be also a challenge with the artistic research and with the artistic studies. Maybe you can expand on that if you have some.
Yeah, I mean that's an important point there, the research aspect, because once we became a university, research became a very prominent aspect of the school and of the different programs, and also encouraged by the leadership of the school. So teachers are encouraged to do research. There's been quite a lot of internal funding to do that. We can apply internally for funding, and that's been a great support because, I mean, as you might understand, research takes some funding to do. And so to have the support of the school in that has been quite positive. We do have a PhD program as well, so that feeds into that. So having PhD researchers as well as teachers who are researching. We have an annual research week every January where teachers and maybe outside researchers come and present their work to the school, and it's open to the public. So there's another way to kind of broaden our visibility, right? Both within the local community, regional, nationwide, as well as European-wide. And then we also have connections within the Nordic, say. We have several film associations with the Nordic schools, similar to like a GECT or SELECT type.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot happening in terms of research and innovation, and also technology is like speeding up, right, with the speed of light, I would say, because I think there is also a challenge in understanding the processes because they're happening very fast. And what I'm bridging to is that I know that you've been giving a talk on the AI and the implications of the AI for the arts here. Could you tell us a bit more about that, and also about what you think?
Sure.
What you think is happening?
Yeah, I mean, about maybe 2 years ago, I saw kind of the need at our school to address AI. We were seeing, of course, ChatGPT and Midjourney and Runway, all of these kind of AI tools were coming out. Students were starting to play around with them, but we had no real idea about it. So I developed a course that was in the fall of 2024, but it was for arts educators of Sweden. So there were 15 students from around Sweden. These were arts teachers with some media, some professional experience as well. And it was really, my whole approach to it was really about demystifying AI. Realizing that AI is, the AI that we have right now is not going to take over the world. It has been just a series of tools, right? Very powerful algorithms, we could say, that have been making some tasks more efficient. For me, from a post-production perspective, some of these AI tools have really sped up the work time. Right? So the things that took a lot of time now are done very quickly using these tools. So yeah, demystifying AI. So, when we bring in a group of students, regardless of how old they are or their experience, what happens very quickly is they understand that, it's not a magic button. You have to really understand the prompting aspect of these tools, right? How you engage with them is very important to the success you have. And it can take a lot of time. It is a craft. You will have specialists in the future who are just prompt engineers, we say, people who just understand how to get the most out of the tool. And I think we're seeing some of that in Hollywood productions, say, where there's an AI, a prompt engineer, as part of the production to assist with special effects, particularly, but also pre-planning. Script evaluation, script breakdowns, storyboarding, all of these things can be done by AI pretty quickly, and we could say successfully, right? Meaning that it gets the job done.
And do you think there are any negative implications of that kind of takeover of the craft, maybe, or maybe takeover of the creative process, a part of the creative process, or at least maybe how do you, if you maybe also notice how the students are changing their approach within the few past decade, maybe the teaching changed as well?
Well, I mean, I think the key words you used was takeover. I guess there is that fear. I don't necessarily have it. And I guess maybe it just has to do with my age and experience of these kind of things that have happened before. I mean, I was alive during the digital, right, that digital transition, right, in film and also workflows in general, right, when the laptop came to be a prominent tool that we carry around and use. That took away jobs from somewhere. So we're going to see with AI that, yes, there will be job losses or jobs will disappear. But again, for me, that's kind of a natural aspect of all technology and new technology, is that things will be replaced by it.
Yeah, so the doom and gloom whole theory, you're not...
I'm not a doom and gloomer, no, because again, having worked with the tools, they're not all that powerful. I talk about AI on a spectrum. So on this side we have, maybe I should say this side, we have kind of very powerful algorithms, the algorithms that help us, or the algorithms that, say, suggest what movie we should watch, what Amazon product we should buy. And then over here we have, Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Terminator taking over the world. I would say that we're about here on the spectrum, right? So there's a long way to go to here. And I think that there is a lot of hype about AI. And I think the hype is a business decision. I'm not sure why. And I think, also, the Hollywood, I mean, I love watching these action movies, these kind of post-apocalyptic films. I mean, I enjoy watching them. But I don't see that happening with AI necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe, is there any connection between this topic and this question, what is human and what is post-human, and your own work?
Yes. Yes, there's a connection there. I mean, I do see this kind of post-human aspect developing more and more, meaning, humanity is evolving, and technology is a big part of that. This is, my glasses are a cyborg aspect, right? If I didn't have glasses, I mean, I'm very curious. If we didn't all have eyeglasses, we'd be stumbling around the world. We wouldn't be able to read things, right? And I realized that, maybe 500 years ago, when eyeglasses weren't so prominent, we were a little bit. There were very strong boundaries against what we could and couldn't do. But eyeglasses have literally opened up our eyes to the world. And so there are other technologies that are very similar to that. In my own work, I'm dealing with, actually, my focus is on the disabled body in the performance space. And I'm using AI right now in my work. I wear a prosthetic, and I'm working with a Brazilian technologist who will put sensors on my muscles. And by contracting my muscles, I'm able to trigger an AI and trigger an audiovisual response. So I contract my muscles and I can control the video fading in and out, right, on a screen behind me, say, or in the performance space. So this is how I'm integrating AI in my work.
That's very interesting.
And my human was kind of the beginning project. Now my project that I'm working on is called Puppet Hospital. And it's really a continuation of the Am I Human project, but opening up this umbrella, this hospital concept, and really has more to do with performance strategies, say, or dramaturgical aspects of performance.
Incredible. So this is all very hybrid.
Yes.
between media and other arts, between human and technology.
Yes.
So there's like a lot of this hybridity.
That's right. And this is kind of this, when we talk about post-human, I'm talking really about the hybrid nature, joining human and machine, having machines as collaborators, actively collaborating on stage, because I don't always have control. I mean, I talked about a very specific control I might have with a muscle contraction, but other aspects of how we want to use AI is to trigger a vocal response, because I'm working in kind of the opera field, and I'm developing a one-act opera as part of my research. It's not film. I am using mediated work within it, but I come from a theater background, you can say, and triggering vocals, meaning that we will create a soprano model. This is what we'll be working on next fall, right? Working with an opera singer, capturing her voice over many hours, and developing an AI model for that, so that if I were to, twitch my finger, there would be a vocal response.
Wow, incredible. And when we were talking about the hybridity, I think also you said that this is not film, but as a person who works in the film EU, I feel like, okay, but the film also does not have currently this kind of strong boundaries, because the boundary between the film and the VR installation is very, very, blurred, and the boundaries between, musical filmed piece and the narrative classical film also is very blurred. So I guess in that sense, that could be like a tendency, right, within the whole arts. Like it's really blurring. It's like,
That's right. And again, I mean, this is something I encourage too, because, excuse me, our students, again, they're born into this world where hybridity is quite around us, all around us, and so of course they want to reflect that in their projects, and so for us as teachers and institutions, we have to be prepared to be able to engage them, right, in order for them to produce these types of works. The film industry as we know it is going through a lot of changes right now. And as you say, we have VR, AR, but we also have, TikTok and all of these other platforms where we can express ourselves. And for me, it's all, again, it comes back to the expressing, right? We're trying to express ideas, feelings, situations, stories. So whether it's video art or narrative art, narrative film, we need to prepare our students to have enough flexibility out there so that they can produce the work that they feel they need to express as artists. Right?
That basically brings me to maybe the last short, open question about the work with the students. If you would reflect on maybe the last 10 years of how the students have changed and how it is now a different way of, especially maybe post the pandemic. So how did teaching change, and how should we adjust that we are now teaching the students post-pandemic, maybe in comparison to pre-pandemic, or maybe even in the comparison to the, boom of the AI and the, mediatization, whole madness?
Yeah, tricky question, but a fair one. My pedagogic approach is this. I approach teaching as a curator. So I'm here to kind of guide you to what you want to learn. So there's a connection there to what's called student-centered learning, right? I refer to it as, for me, as student-centered teaching. Right? So I changed the word there because I'm a teacher, but I have to focus should be on the students, and not as a group, but as individuals. Right? So a big part of my teaching in the beginning of a course is actually a very extensive introduction for everyone in the course. Who are you? Where are you coming from personally and artistically? What are you trying to accomplish here in this course and maybe in the larger curriculum? What do you want to get out of the course and the curriculum? Right? Where do you want to be when you leave the school? And that helps me. And so I have little individual folders on each of the students, so that I can then guide them to, as a curator, to where they will get the best information. Because I don't have it all. I mean, we have there's a imposter syndrome that I think we all have faced over, in our life at some point. I know students face it when they come into the school. We are in a fairly elite school. It is the main film school of Sweden. We get 100, 200 applicants for each spot. So there's a lot of competition. And when people are accepted, they come into the school and then they realize, okay, am I really worth being here, right? Do I really have the chops to succeed in this environment? So all of the students have this kind of imposter syndrome that they deal with, and I try and ease that by saying, look, we're all imposters or we're not. I don't know everything. There are things some of you in front of me right now know more about than I do, and I'm going to learn from you, and you're going to learn from me. But really, my intention is to guide you to either the person or the book, the website that will help you get to where you want to go as a student. I don't take attendance. I tell them, you guys are adults. All right, I'm not going to chase you down the hall. I'm not going to, email you in the middle of the night. Where's your assignment? This is your education. It's not my education. I'm here to help you get educated, and it's about your motivation. If I can inspire you, that's great. If I can't, maybe the next teacher can. But again, you have to take responsibility for this.
Thank you so much. That was very important one, the last one, and I guess that's really where the arts education is going more and more. That's something I personally liked a lot in my first film school where I studied, because it was not very human-centered or not very personal-centered.
Right. I mean, this idea that you just dump knowledge into the classroom and then hope everyone gets it is not really productive, right? Yeah. And it's important that students have time to reflect, to have time to critically think about what they're doing. Of course, as we get higher into the BA, and especially in the masters, I mean, there's, right now I'm doing an AI course, and it's for students outside the university, or professionals, and we meet twice a week online for 3 hours, and that's it. And they have their assignments, and they have their own the kind of the course, the examination projects that they're going to be doing. They have little exercises that they do between classes. So
yeah. And are your students driven? Are they all
There's a saying in Swedish called lagom, and it means just enough. And I guess it kind of reflects what a bell curve is, right? In a class, when you give a test, you grade it on a curve, right? So you might have two people who 100%. Then you have two people they failed. But then the curve goes up, right? It forms a bell shape, right? And in Sweden, people want to stay more in that bell-shaped area. They don't want to, they don't want to stick out, right? Oh. There's in the culture there is a sense of, you don't brag about yourself, you don't, right? It's very similar to what we might have heard about Japanese culture, right? You want to get along and make no waves, and it's quite strong in the Swedish culture, actually. And so what that does is prevent some highly motivated people from really
Interesting.
being motivated.
Maybe this is where the international mobility comes
Yes,
into place.
that's right. This is what I see. I mean, having our students be exposed to these other cultures, these other ways of working. Right now we have an Erasmus program. It's the second round of funding with an Egyptian university in Cairo. And there those students are incredibly motivated. They have incredible stories to tell, but they have very limited resources. We are incredibly resource rich. We have beautiful studios, beautiful editing suites, color grading suites, sound mixing suites, and our students rarely use them. They're empty most of the time.
Because the stories.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So when students go to Cairo and see how difficult it is to work, they come back quite motivated. And when we have Egyptian students come to our school, and even students from other countries who are in the programs, they tend to be the ones who stay late in the editing suites. They use the cinema. They use the film studio. Right? They realize the importance of the resources. So, yes, getting our students out into the world to see, because they're quite privileged, spoiled maybe, but don't have the perspective to understand that yet, right? So, this is why a big reason we want to become part of a Film EU, say, alliance. Yeah.